Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda. I'm Nick Park and I'm taking us through some of my favourite Christmas movies and sharing with you some of just the gospel truths that we can find alluded to and expressed in those movies. And maybe your Christmas movies are not the same as mine. But you know what I've discovered? We can find the truth of God in all strange kinds of places. And today I want to talk about the movie The Preacher's Wife. Now, it was a remake of a much older film called The Bishop's Wife, but it's got big name stars in it, notably Whitney Houston and Denzel Washington. It's got a great soundtrack. In fact, the soundtrack of the movie The Preacher's Wife is the best-selling ever gospel music album, and it's also got the best version I've ever heard of that glorious song, Joy to the World, the Lord Has Come, which, by the way, is not actually a Christmas song at all. I know we sing it at Christmas, and I love singing it at Christmas, and it always makes me feel Christmassy. In fact, it's one song that we always use in our Christmas Day service. And yet, the song Joy to the World is not talking about Christmas at all. It's talking about the second coming. It's talking about Jesus coming again in his second coming to banish wrong and to claim the world as his own. But the best version of it I've ever heard is in the movie The Preacher's Wife. And now, it's got a stupid plot in the movie. A struggling preacher feels like he is failing his wife and family. You say, well, that's not that stupid. I'm sure it happens. Trust me, it does. But an angel comes to help, and the angel falls in love with his wife. I told you it was a stupid plot. Now, I won't go into everything that happens, but in the midst of it, there is an underlying message that is so important, that Christians aren't perfect. Preachers aren't perfect. Even in the life of the church, we can get down, we can get stuck in a rut, we can end up just going through the motions. But in the midst of all of that, God can help us to rediscover the power of faith in our lives. And for me, that's why I like this movie, The Preacher's Wife, and why I think it is certainly one of the better Christmas movies. Because sometimes the church, we find disappointment in the church when we should be finding joy. Sometimes we find division in the church. Sometimes we find arguments in the church. And, I'm aware that my job as a Christian minister is to tell people how wonderful the gospel is and how great the Church of Jesus Christ is and how much they need to be a part of it. And I believe all of that, and I do believe that the Church of Jesus Christ is wonderful and is a miracle of God, and I think everybody needs to find their place in the church. But sometimes, even in the church, we can get hurt, we can get disappointed, and it can end up being not what we expected. But in the midst of all of that, and thank God it doesn't take an angel having to come and fall in love with our wives, but in the midst of that, God can help us to rediscover that there is such a power in faith. And God can take a faith that's grown a bit lukewarm, and God can cause that faith to burn white hot within us once again. And I just feel led today, no matter what kind of Christmas you've had, I just feel led to pray that the Lord would touch your faith, and he would rekindle faith and rekindle life within you in Jesus' name. God bless you. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda.